You know that sound a car engine makes when it starts to sputter and cough right before it just dies? That sputtering, that loss of power, that's the big warning sign. Well, in the world of business, there is an equivalent, and it's called financial distress. It's not the final crash, but it is that critical, scary period right before everything grinds to a halt.
So, what is actually going on in that painful and honestly pretty misunderstood period before a company officially goes bankrupt? That's what we're going to break down in this explainer, the anatomy of financial distress, what it is, what causes it, and all the hidden chaos it creates inside a company.
Okay, first things first, we've got to get a crystal clear definition on the table. It is so important to understand that financial distress and bankruptcy, they are not the same thing. Not at all. One is the sickness, and the other is a very serious potential treatment for that sickness. To put it really simply, the money a company is making from its day-to-day business just isn't enough to cover its immediate bills. We're talking about paying suppliers, making payroll, covering the interest on its LOs. The company is basically bleeding cash faster than it's making it, and it's forced to do something drastic to stop it. Right, so here's the crucial distinction. Think of financial distress as the medical diagnosis. It's the state of being sick. Bankruptcy, on the other hand, that's a specific legal procedure. It's like admitting the patient to the ICU. It is a formal legal process that happens when that sickness becomes totally unmanageable. But it is not the sickness itself. So, how does a company that seems totally healthy end up in this danger zone? You know, the path to distress isn't always some big, sudden event. A lot of the time, it's more like a slippery slope with a bunch of different triggers. So let's look at what pushes them over the edge. The causes can come from the inside, like, say, poor management making a string of really bad decisions. Or they can be external forces that are completely out of the company's control. An entire industry could get turned upside down by a new technology, or a sudden recession could just dry up customer demand overnight. Sometimes it's one of these things, but a lot of the time it's a nasty combination of a few of them. Now, why is this so important, even before bankruptcy is on the table? Well, it's because the true cost of financial distress goes way beyond the obvious stuff. It creates this domino effect of hidden costs that can absolutely cripple a business long before any lawyers get involved. And what's really fascinating here is that the most damaging expenses, the things that do the most harm, are the ones you're never going to find on a balance sheet. They're indirect, they're corrosive, and they attack the very core of the company's ability to even function. The direct costs that you probably think of, legal fees, administrative stuff, that's really just the tip of the iceberg. The real killer, what makes up the huge majority of the cost, comes from those indirect effects. Your best employees, they see the writing on the wall and they jump ship. Your customers get nervous and they take their business somewhere else. And your suppliers? Oh, they start demanding cash up front, which is the absolute last thing a company that's bleeding money needs. Okay, now we get to the really juicy part, the internal drama. When a company is in distress, this massive conflict of interest just explodes. The people who own the company, the shareholders, and the people the company owes money to, the creditors, they suddenly find themselves on opposite sides of a very high-stakes fight. This conflict creates something economists call agency costs. And I know that term might sound a little academic and dry, but the idea is actually pretty simple. The owners might start making decisions that could help them, but would really hurt the lenders. And these decisions can take a terrible situation and make it exponentially worse. So here's the dilemma in a nutshell. The shareholders, they've pretty much lost everything already, so what's their incentive? They might as well roll the dice on some crazy bet-the-company project. I mean, if it pays off, they hit the jackpot. If it fails, well, they were going down anyway, right? But the lenders, the banks and the bondholders, they see this and they completely panic. They get none of the upside from that risky bet, but they get all of the downside. They just want the company to play it safe and protect whatever value is left so they have a chance of getting paid back. All right, so to pull this all together, financial distress is that critical period of sickness before bankruptcy. It can be triggered by failures inside the company or shocks from the outside world. Its true costs are usually hidden, and it unleashes this destructive internal conflict over who should be taking on the risk. It's a mess that often comes from the very problems banking regulators are always warning about: weak credit standards and not paying attention when the world changes. And all of that leaves us with one final, really provocative question. When a company is right on the brink of collapse, who should really be in control? The owners, who are basically incentivized to throw a Hail Mary pass, or the lenders, who just want to salvage whatever is left? It's a question with no easy answer, and it's right at the heart of this whole distress dilemma.